Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits, the Motor Chaos. It's your host, Dave. I got online with me special guest, Nitro Dragster, Nostalgia Nitro Dragster driver Rick Taylor. How's it going, Rick?
Yeah, pretty good, Dave. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to be on and to reach out and to do the interview. We do appreciate it.
Now, Rick, tell me first question: how did this all begin for you in drag racing?
Well, I guess like most of us, I got hooked as a kid, and it carried on to as a young adult. As a kid, I was always drawn to the dragsters and the funny cars and the altereds, more so than door cars. Not knocking the door cars by any means, but they really just, they were just amazing to me, and I wanted to know more about them and learn everything I could about them, and then I was absolutely fascinated by the nitro cars. They sounded different. They smelled different. They acted different. They were just loud, and I couldn't get enough of them as a kid, and I wanted to learn everything I could about what made them go, and how you made them go, and what made them different, and what this stuff nitromethane was. So I guess as a kid, it started right there and carried on, like I said, into adulthood. I enlisted in the Air Force when I was 19, and I ended up on the West Coast and got the opportunity. Let's say I was stationed out there from 90 to 97, and I had the opportunity to work with some teams out there in the beginning days of the nostalgia movement, and even a big show car or two. There was one or two in there, but that never went away. It was always my dream to have my own car. I did some bracket racing in there occasionally, mostly with friends, just something to do. And then I retired in when did I retire? 2007, and we moved back home here to Oklahoma, and then I started looking for a car, and I actually bought this car in 2010 from a young man by the name of Jesse Michael, who is the guy who owns and runs Michael Machining and Consulting in Pecola, Oklahoma. He's done a lot of work for us through the years. And he ran the car on 30%. He had set up to run 30%, and we bought it. We played with alcohol for a couple of years, getting our feet wet. Kind of acquainting myself with small block. It had been a number of years since I'd messed with a small block. And then we started around 2012, adding some of the good stuff to the percentage, 10%, then 15, and then 18, 20, 25. And we made it all the way up to 40 with a motor that was had steel rods and 13-to-1 compression, and managed to keep all the parts inside of it. But it was a great learning experience. In that time, I got with some of the A-Fuel guys and to pick their brains, and got with some of the guys who had run junior fuel cars back in the 60s. I'm not old enough to remember those cars, and so I got with some of those guys, Paul Castor and Mike Coker and Ben Griffin, just to name a couple who I've kind of picked their brains a little bit, and asked them how they did that, because if they were able to do it 50 years ago, why can't we do it today? So, and then last year, 2017, we built this new motor, and it was a purpose-built motor, a true injected nitro motor, and we've been running it since last year. We spent last year working on some different compression ratios, fuel percentages, and fuel settings, and timing, and kind of playing with that, and till we got there's a 496. When did we run that last month? And there's more potential, obviously, running 80%. There's a lot more potential. We should be able to run 450s. The last piece of the puzzle is trying to get the gears right in the rear end, and that's where we're at right now. Is trying to get the rear end gears and the transmission gears, kind of linked up, and to be able to harness that power. But we've kind of been sneaking up on it. It's real easy to end up with a big pile of junk, when you've got that much nitro in the tank, and so you take those baby steps, and that's the way we've approached it. So, we could go the easy route, I guess. People ask me, why are you doing it this way? Why don't you just run a blown alcohol combination? And I guess I like to be different. There's a lot of guys out there who have had lots of success with blown alcohol, and that's awesome. But I like to be a little different, and go my own way, I guess. So.
Yeah, you want to make people's eyes get cheered up.
Well, we've had a great response to the car. People have been genuinely supportive. They come out and they really like the fact that we're running small block on nitro, and they really love hearing the way it sounds. It's got a unique sound to it anytime you add nitro to a small block. So we're just trying to put on a good show and basically have fun. So that's what it comes down to.
Now, do you ever take the dragster out and go to like car shows and cackle it?
We have a few times, but a lot of them, they don't really want us there. There's one here in Oklahoma City. They've been trying to get us to go to the Coffee and Cars that's actually in Oklahoma City, and we haven't. Our schedules have been conflicted. We'd love to take it out there this summer, but some of the ones we've gone to, some of them, they'll say, yeah, go ahead and fire it up, and I don't think they really understand how loud it is. They're not maybe ready for a car that's that loud. But other ones we've gone to, they're not really receptive to firing up. They're not really digging on that. That maybe we'll get the show cars dirty. Get a little nitro on the paint or something.
So now, Rick, what nostalgia group do you run with?
Well, we run mostly with the Southwest Heritage Racing Association, and I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
But okay, it's a kind of a regional thing here that Chris Graves has been instrumental in putting together over the last 5 or 6 years, and we have a lot of fun. We have NE 1, 2, and 3. We've run NE 2, and with a lot of success. Eventually we're not going to be able to slow the car down to run NE 2. We're going to have to step up and run NE 1. But this last weekend we actually were at Mocan in Missouri for the Funny Car Chaos there, and ran the the Outlaw Nostalgia Eliminator, or Outlaw Nostalgia Shootout, and had a great time, absolutely great time. Car ran flawlessly. The driver was a little anxious in round 1 and went 009 red, so we'll give him a hard time for that. But we were running against blown cars, and I was just trying to squeeze it, I guess, a little too hard. But like they say, if you don't red light once in a while, you're not trying hard enough. So I'll chalk that up to trying too hard.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of the Funny Car Chaos live feeds with all the funny cars. That was a great thing that happened with Dave Gallegos giving the heads to Fred Farndon.
Let's see, who won the deal? It was Singleton.
Yeah, Singleton won the Hawkeye car. Yeah.
Right. They ended up winning it. It was a great show. It was absolutely a great show. They had a total of 6 classes there, and I think they had 12 funny cars, and they had, I think, 12 or 13 of the nostalgia dragsters in our deal. They had the Dirty South Gassers. There was a class, an outlaw class, hot rod, I think, or something like that, and some junior dragsters. The place was packed. They ran out of food at the concession stand. So it was a great event. We had a great time. We signed all kinds of autographs and had kids showing up and put a bunch of kids in the car. We try to do that whenever we can, and sold a lot of T-shirts and even gave some away. I think we give away as many as we sell. So especially to the kids. But it was a great deal. It was a great deal. We would love to go back next year and run that deal next year. So.
Yeah. But what I was talking about was how the Nitro card, the funny card, the Nitro Clown.
Yeah, that's Dave Gallegos.
Yeah, I was saying how great it was that he gave heads to Fred Farnan so Fred can run, because Dave was.
Oh, absolutely. Dave. I guess Dave Gallegos. I'm butchering Dave's name. I apologize.
Gallegos. Yeah.
Yeah, Gallegos. There you go.
He had an oil down or something like that.
Yeah, they had some kind of a problem. I don't remember. I talked to him on the starting line. I can't remember. There was something. There was an oiling problem with the block, and the block needed to go to the machine shop. And then, of course, Fred. They had. So I don't know what exactly was wrong, but they took the heads and swapped them from Dave's car to Fred's car to make the show, and that's kind of the whole feel of this nostalgia deal. You go to the big show, and I'm knocking Big Brother, but there's nothing like when you have two modern day fuel cars go down the racetrack. I mean that's awesome. The earth vibrates, but it doesn't feel like it used to. When I was a kid, what I remember, but these deals, this Funny Car Chaos and the SHRA deal that we run with and the NHR Heritage Series, that's what I remember as a kid. Everybody helped each other out. It was more of a family feel than what it is at the big show level, so, and I miss that, and I think that's why nostalgia racing is becoming really, really popular, and people go and they're like, hey, this is really cool. You can get up close to the cars and talk to the crews and the drivers and it's like it used to be. It's got that real family friendly feel. So, but that, yeah, you're exactly right. That's just indicative of the whole nostalgia movement. I mean, if you need something, if I can help you out, then certainly. And I've had guys, blown me stuff, and we've had guys years ago that we were down in Shreveport, Louisiana, as a matter of fact, and Bubba Hickson. He had the one wide ride cart at the time, and he was short crew help, and we were short crew help. We actually faced him in round one, and we beat him. They ended up helping us the rest of the night. So that's just so indicative of nostalgia racing and drag racing in general. You beat somebody, but they end up helping you out the rest of the night. So that's pretty cool. You don't see that, I don't think, in other forms of motorsports. We're kind of blessed to have that mindset. So
exactly. Yeah, another good thing about nostalgia is you could practically get a whole family in for the price of one ticket for a big show.
What's that now?
That's another good thing about nostalgia drag racing. You could practically get your whole family in for the price of one big show ticket.
Absolutely. I haven't been to the big show in about 4 or 5 years or so. And, I don't even know what the ticket prices are now. I gotta be honest, but yeah, you're definitely going to get your money's worth if you come to a nostalgia race and not pay nearly what you would for a big show, and I mean, what is it? Not just to get in. I mean, if you take a family of 5, what are tickets? Or what? Probably, I don't even know. What are they now? $50, somewhere in there. So you're going to spend, what is that, $250 just to get in. That doesn't include food. You know, you're going to spend probably $300 or $400. You go to a nostalgia race, it's what, $15, $20 to get in, and you know, $3, $4 for hamburger, fries, and a Coke. So, you know, for the whole day, you're spending what, $25. You know, you can't beat it for the entertainment value. You know, but you know, sure, I'm biased, just like you. So.
Yeah, the big shows are corporate now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, like I was saying earlier, you know, I remember when I was a kid, you could get right up next to the cars, and you know, I can remember being in between Big Daddy's trailer and his car, and kind of being in his way, and he just kind of turn around and look at you, and you know, you didn't have to say anything. You knew that, you know, get out of the way, you know. But that's the way everybody was, you know. You could get right up to the cars, and you know, you can't do that now. You know?
They're all roped off now on Big Show.
Exactly. And it's, you know, I understand why it's evolved the way it has, because they've got to do the quick turnarounds. You know, they've only got 75 minutes to, you know, change all the pistons and to service everything, and so they need, you know, that room to do that. But it's unfortunate, you know. Like I've said, there's nothing like, you know, if somebody hasn't been to a big show, I tell them you got to go just to experience it, because there's nothing like, you know, a couple modern fuelers launching. But if you want to feel, you know what it was like, you know, in past years, then come out and hang out with us. You know, you can get right up to the cars and get up close and personal, and you're not going to go broke like you were talking about. So,
right. And you can even drivers will even let you sit in the car with nostalgia.
Exactly, we do that quite a bit. My number one crew guy, Tyrone, is he's always putting kids in the cockpit. You know, and my biggest fear is that one of them's going to grab the fire extinguisher and handle and pull that fire extinguisher handle. You know, so we haven't had that happen yet, thank God.
Yeah. So, how many crew members do you have for the dragster, Rick?
Well, we have a crew of, well, it's myself, my wife Jennifer, and Scott LaFleur, Tyrone Richard, Kevin Aliff, and Keith Colson. Now that's, what is that, 4 guys? They're not able to make every race, all of them. In fact, at Funny Car Chaos, it was just myself and Jennifer and Tyrone. The other guys couldn't make it. But normally we like to have at least 2 guys. So, you know, that makes it easy to do, you know, the in-between rounds maintenance. Because with an injected nitro car, there is, you know, the safety issue after every run. Every time the fuel pump has been turned on, we got to pull all 8 spark plugs and blow it down and windmill it, make sure all the fuel is out of it, you know. So, you know, and then run valves and, you know, and put plugs back in. And, you know, it's not a massive amount of maintenance, but it's certainly better when you have 4 people there. You know, it just makes it so much easier. But, you know, this is an all-volunteer crew like most of them out there, and they have lives, you know, so they have stuff going on. So sometimes it just ends up being 3 of us. Sometimes we have more than enough people. And, you know, we've never had a problem, you know, not having enough help at the racetrack. We've got some friends right here in Choctaw. We actually there's 3, believe it or not. Choctaw, Oklahoma is a little town of about 12,000 people just east of Oklahoma City, and they're within 5 miles here. We've got 3 front-engine nostalgia dragsters. There's me, and then a mile south of us, Mark Cottrell, who's the uncle of Bobby Cottrell, I might add. And then about 4 miles south is another friend of ours, Mike Knupp, who runs a front-engine dragster. It's kind of weird that there's 3 cars right here in Choctaw. So, but we kind of, you know, go to the races together and hang out together, and we have kind of formed a little group. We call it the Oklahoma Nostalgia Mafia, and there's a Facebook page if anybody's interested. But the 3 of us we call ourselves the Choctaw Originals of the Oklahoma Nostalgia Mafia. So, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's just kind of our way of kind of sticking together. And it was we started it. I guess it was last year, and it was kind of a way to kind of poke our Texas brothers, and to kind of keep that rivalry fresh and keep it going, because you've always got the Texas Oklahoma thing, so that's where that all came from.
Now, do you have any sponsors for the car?
Dave, this year we do not. We've had some help in past years, and we just couldn't secure any sponsorship for 2018, and I mean, any kind of racing is expensive, absolutely. But when you put nitro on the tank, costs go up exponentially. I mean, nitro is expensive, in and of itself. And then, checking out parts. I mean, we're going through a lot more spark plugs, a lot more bearings, and those kind of things, rings, than we would on alcohol. We do have some help, certainly. The guy I mentioned earlier, Jesse Michael at Michael Machining Consulting, he's done some work for us. In fact, over the winter, he did the intake on the car, the new sheet metal intake, and the headers, and the new body section on the nose. He did that, and made us a really good deal on there. And he's, like I said earlier, he's done work for us through the years, and he's helped us out, whenever he can. We've had some help from a local business here, Carol Signs, who does some, stencil work for us, and does our T-shirts, and she's helped us out a little bit. But as far as actual, sponsorship that we can, kind of for the cost of racing, no, we don't have any. And if there's anybody out there in podcast land listening, and you're wanting to get into drag racing as a sponsor, we are actively seeking marketing partners, and we're obviously grassroots. We're not looking for $1 million budgets. Nowhere near that. We're family friendly. We've got a pretty good following. If you look at our Facebook page, we've got a following in this region, and actually throughout the country. We've got people who follow us throughout the country, and so if anybody's out there and looking to get into maybe marketing something, and this is kind of a unique opportunity, I think, and we're willing to work hard to do whatever's necessary. So, yeah, definitely. But at the time right now, Dave, we do not have any sponsorship. So.
Okay, so when you first started watching drag racing when you were young, what drivers were inspirational to you back then?
Oh wow. Well, I've always looked up to Big Daddy. Don Garlitz has always been somebody who I just had a great admiration for, because he always built his own cars, tuned his own cars, and drove his own cars, and he kind of did it his own way. He didn't always fit the mold what the NHRA thought a drag racer should look like, but he did it his own way. So he was always somebody that I looked up to and still do. But some of the other guys are maybe lesser known guys. I always liked Frank Bradley. Frank was always somebody who just kind of went out there and did it kind of the same way Garlitz did. He tuned his own cars and he got it done. And he didn't have a big budget. Not a lot of teams did back then. But and of course you got to admire Prudhomme. He's the guy who's got the killer instinct. He wants to win a drag race at all costs. Raymond Beadle was always somebody who looked up to, kind of gave the impression that he was kind of a country bumpkin, but he was a sharp cookie under there, for sure. Dick LaHaye was another guy. was another Lubbock guy, but definitely was able to have success. I think that was probably it. I mean, the list. I'm sure there's something good I could say about everybody that ever drove a top fuel car or a funny car. But Garlitz was the main one. I would say. I really admired the way that he did things.
Now, what about Shirley Muldowney?
Well, I admire the fact that Shirley didn't take no for an answer, and she didn't let barriers stop her. Being a Garlitz fan, I wasn't real fond of the rivalry they had. There was a long time where it seemed like she beat up on him way more than he beat up on her, But as the father of four daughters, I kind of have grown to maybe have a bit of a soft spot for her because she was somebody that I could point to for my daughters and say that you're capable of doing anything you want to do as long as you're able to work, as long as you're willing to work hard, and don't take no for an answer, and don't let somebody say you can't do something, So, like I said, I was on the other side of the fence with being a Garlitz fan, but I never wished her any ill, and would when she had her accident back in was it '84? I think at Montreal. I was sad. I mean, because she's lover or hater, or if you're in between, she did break down barriers and was a 3-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion, and you can't scoff at that. I mean, she did it, so good for her.
How about Chris the Greek Karamassinis?
Oh, the Greek. I mean, how can you not love a guy who his only job has been driving a top fuel dragster? I mean, that was my dream. When I was a kid, was to be the next Chris Karamassini.
You think you'll go that old?
Dave. People ask me, what our long-term plans are, and I love driving. There's nothing like pushing that loud pedal. And I'm sure that's what keeps the Greek going. But I don't know. I mean, at 80, what is he, 85-ish, somewhere in there? I don't know that anybody knows his actual age. To still be driving that's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. I guess the best I could hope for would be to be able to just to own and tune a car at that age, So, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. I guess it just depends on where I'm at in life at that point. I mean, assuming I live that long, I mean,
right.
Nothing's guaranteed.
So how old are your four daughters now?
Let's see. They range in age from 29 to 20. And there's a boy in there, too. He is 23. We have a grand total of 5 between the two of us, my wife and I. So I had 3 biological daughters and a stepson and a stepdaughter. So
now, do any of them like drag racing?
They will come out to the track and watch us, but they don't have at least not at this point yet. They don't have the great interest that I did at that age, or still have. They think it's neat, certainly, and like going to the track and seeing the old man do what he does. But we have 5 grandkids also that range in age from 12 to a 6-month-old. Maybe one of those will.
Maybe you'll
gets the bug and
Get a junior dragster going.
We've talked about it. We haven't, obviously pulled the plug yet. We've talked about it, but it's like everything else, Dave. I mean, everything takes money, and when you're trying to run the big car, there's not a whole lot left for a junior dragster, but we would love to, certainly, and maybe we could get one that a couple of them could share, So I don't know how that would go over, but I don't know.
So what was it like getting behind the wheel for the first time on the dragster?
Well, you mean actually going down the track? Because I'd been behind the wheel, in warm-ups, for several cars, but actually,
going down the track, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I'd done some bracket racing, but it was a lot different. Going from a 12-second door car to this front engine dragster, it was a big difference. Just getting in the car and getting strapped in. I kind of always liken it to you're kind of you're becoming part of the car when they strap you in. It's just like you put on all your safety gear, and then the last thing you put on is the car. You're actually part of it. And then when the motor fires, you just get in the zone. Of course, before that, you've got all those things going through your head. Did you remember to do this? Did they do that? Did they, But when the motor fires, all that goes out the window, and But to answer your question, the first time I hit the throttle and went A to B, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I've spent my whole life preparing for this, working on everybody else's car and learning everything I could, and it was exactly what I hoped it would be, and that you can go faster and faster, and it's, I guess it's like a drug. I've never done drugs, but you want more, So,
yeah, it's an adrenaline rush.
Exactly, and you never lose it. I was reading today, I think, where Don Schumacher did an interview, and he was asked about getting back in the cockpit, and he said he wouldn't do it because he knew that it would be like sticking a needle in his arm, and then you can't just do it once. You got to do it over and over and over and over, And I've known guys through the years who raced and for whatever reason got out of racing, and I mean they wouldn't look at magazines, they wouldn't watch any on TV, they wouldn't talk to anybody that raced. If they did, they wouldn't want to talk about racing because they were afraid if they did, they would get that bug, So, I don't know. I've never been down that road, and hopefully I don't ever go down that road. I'm content where I'm at, and want to keep on going as long as the good Lord lets me keep breathing, and we can afford to run this thing,
Right. Now, do you prefer quarter mile or eighth mile racing?
Well, from the owner's standpoint, I prefer the eighth mile because it's easier on the wallet. From the driver's standpoint, I prefer the quarter mile because you get to go faster, So, most of the stuff we do SHRA is eighth mile, but we have two quarter mile tracks right here in Oklahoma, Tulsa, and then Thunder Valley, which is the closest track. So, I don't get to run a lot of quarter mile, but when we do, we kind of, really relish that opportunity because it's, a rare thing. So, but the eighth mile, like I said, it's much easier on the wallet. So,
right. So, what are your favorite tracks to run on, Rick?
Really like Tulsa. I really like that track. It's a really nice facility, and it's always real, very well prepared. Denton, North Star Dragway at Denton is one of our favorite tracks. Ardmore's always kind of been our home track. It's a little further than Noble here is, but we've always kind of considered that our home track. The Carroll family owns that track, and they do a great job of taking care of the track and promoting it and put on great shows, and so we love running there too. But we've run well, I guess 4 or 5 states, and I don't even know how many different racetracks, and it doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. Put a drag strip out in the middle of a cornfield, and we'll be there. Put another car in the other lane, and we'll be there.
Now, have you had any accidents in your drag racing career?
Not really bad ones. We've had a few little minor incidents. We tagged a guardrail down at Temple, Texas, I guess 2 years ago. It didn't do any damage to the car, just scrubbed the tires. We've had the normal things that you'll have happen with a front engine car. Get covered in oil, get covered in fuel, those kind of things. No fires, knock on wood. But I guess the hairiest thing was years ago we were at Ardmore, as a matter of fact, and we were having problems with an oil leak, and we could not figure out where it was coming from. And thought we had it fixed, and made a pass, and right in the lights, lifted, and thought, okay, cool. And just as I lifted, I got covered in oil, and I couldn't see where I was going. And that was kind of scary. I got the car stopped, and was obviously nothing, no further incident, but it's when people ask me, they're like, well, were you scared? No, you're not scared. There's no time to be scared. You just react and do what you got to do to get the car, keep the car under control and get stopped. And it's afterwards that you realize, oh my gosh, what just happened to me? Then you're like, all right, thanks, Lord. Let's not do that again.
Right. So now, Rick, I'm going to ask you a few fun questions before we finish this interview.
Sure.
Do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
Well, I believe it or not, no. My wife and I we're doing some upgrades to our house here, and if we're not messing with a car, we're kind of working around the house, doing yard work and stuff. We built a new fire pit last fall, and we like to go watch our local baseball team here in the city, the Oklahoma Red Hawks, when we can. But not really. I mean, the car takes a lot of our time, and then life itself. I mean, you work and try to spend time with family and church, and there's not a whole lot of time beyond that when you're working. What do they say? 40 hours a week to go race for 5 seconds or whatever.
So, who's been your greatest competitor?
Oh man, there's been quite a few of them, but two come to mind: Thomas Hickson and Bubba. If you listen to this, I hope that you are able to get a car together and get back out there, because we had some great battles. For about a 2-year span, it seemed like every race at some point we would face off, and we had some great races. We really did. B. Godwin, the late B. Godwin. B. died a couple of years ago at a track down in Texas, Temple. They think he had a heart attack on a run and passed away. Was a tough competitor. I never got by B. I don't know how many times we raced him, but I was never able to beat him. That's the one guy I was never able to beat, and I'll never get the opportunity. But he was a guy who was always willing to help you. He'd give you anything he could, to race him. But when you rolled up to the starting line, you better have your A game on, because he was going to murder you on the tree. So those would be the two that come to mind that we really battled it out to years.
So what's your favorite food to eat, Rick?
Favorite food? Whatever's available. I'm not real picky. I'm a meat guy. I would say probably barbecue. And going back to what you asked me about a hobby, we do some pretty mean barbecue around here. My wife says she's been trying to talk me into for years to open up a restaurant, but that's way too much work. But on occasion, we'll fire up the smoker and smoke a brisket for about 18 hours, and it's pretty hard to beat that, Dave. Maybe one of these days we can get together and I can let you sample some of my barbecue.
Sounds good. So what's your favorite beverage?
My favorite? Well, it'd probably be Mountain Dew, but I've cut way back on sodas over the last couple of years. So I drink a lot of lemonade now. So I guess Mountain Dew has been replaced with lemonade.
So if you were in drag racing, what do you think you'd be doing?
Dave, I can't really imagine, doing anything else. I mean, this has been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, so it's hard to imagine, but I guess if I had to, that's a tough question. Probably something to do with cars.
Right.
And in some way, I don't know exactly what, but it would probably some way revolve around cars.
Okay, so if people that are listening to this interview want to find where you're going to be running it, what's the best way for them to find your schedule online?
We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. The Facebook page is Nitro Monkey A-Fuel Dragster, and the Instagram page, I believe, is Nitro Monkey 2000. I don't want to lie to you. Let me look it up and see what it is here. It's Nitro Monkey 2014. That's the Instagram page, and everything's usually posted on there. We try to keep it updated, with the schedule. If anything changes, we try to update that, and get it out there as soon as possible, to let everybody know whatever changes, and we try to keep it updated with videos and pictures, and just try to keep it interesting so that folks kind of know what's going on. So
right. So now, Rick, I want to thank you very much for your time for the interview. Do you have any final words for all the people that are listening?
Well, for everybody that's listening, I want to thank everybody who has followed our page and liked our page, and for all the well wishes over the last couple of weeks. I had a health scare there. They removed a cancerous polyp from my colon, but they got it all, and I'm cancer free, and I certainly appreciate all the prayers and well wishes that we've gotten over the past few weeks. It truly makes you realize how blessed you are when you get all the messages and the phone calls and the text, and we even got a bunch of cards from people, and truly appreciate it, and truly feel blessed for that, and thank everybody who comes out to the track and hangs out with us. If you haven't come out, and we're going to be in your area, come on out. Everybody's welcome. I think anybody who's ever hung out with us at the track would tell you we're family friendly. If we've got the time, I'll talk drag racing all day long. Come out and see us, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity to do this interview.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
We'll do another one in the future.
All righty. Thanks a lot, Dave.
And I wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it.
No problem, Rick. You have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.